Yeah, Isaiah and Esther have been back getting started cutting some firewood. We're kind of behind on that. But yeah, cutting some dead standing ash. We split everything by hand. And that is a handy box. We love that box. It's a great way to get the wood out. Yeah, we're kind of behind cutting firewood this year. Usually we got half of it cut. But our four-wheel drive tractor was down for a while, and the snow's so deep out there. Can't really get around in the woods without that four-wheel drive loader. So, yeah, we're started late, but we'll get started. Cutting mostly dead standing ash. Last year we cut, I don't know, 11 or 12 face cord dead standing ash. And we're going to miss ash when it's gone. Love ash trees. Lots of heat, good firewood, straight grain, splits easy, makes a good saw log. But yeah, so we're gonna keep plugging away at that. And I guess you probably saw the little box on the back of the tractor. We like that box. Put some weight on the rear axle. And we just as soon, instead of hauling logs out and cutting them and splitting them in another spot, we just set up and split in the woods and draw it back in that box and unload it, and then head back and cut up some more. But yeah, I'll do a video too on those Echo chainsaws. I don't know, probably not too many people run Echo chainsaws. But that's all we run now. Yeah, we really like them, and we'll do a video on that. But right now, let's go and take a look at what's going on in House 10. All right, 2 more weeks, we're going to be firing this one up. So it's time to start getting ready for growing season 2026, which starts with getting the furnaces serviced. Yeah, so this is the furnace for House 10. It's a 300 BTU forced air fuel oil furnace. There's convection tubes that run down both sides under the outside benches that blows hot air, and then there's another hole over here that just blows air into the greenhouse. So every year when we service these, they get new filters, which I've already done, then new nozzles, new cat eyes, and we double check to make sure that the points are set properly and that they're clean. Now you might say, well, if the nozzle doesn't need replacing, the cat eye is $15. Why would you replace it if it did? Because I don't want them to fail. When I've got $20,000 worth of plants in here and it's 5 below zero outside, I need this thing to be working. So it's cheap insurance for me just to go ahead and replace this stuff every year. So they get a new cat eye and a new nozzle. So we're gonna pop this here. Trusty rusty vice grips, because I never have a 7/16 wrench on hand, but I do have one of those. That's another thing. Having vice grips in a holster on your hip is a handy thing to have, whether you're just a homesteader, a farmer, a greenhouse person. So you can't exactly see it, but there's a nut where the fuel line goes in here, and I just detached the fuel supply that goes to the nozzle, and now I'm taking off the little thing that holds it there. So one thing that I really like about fuel oil furnaces versus propane ones is I can work on them. See, this is just a super simple thing to work on. So here's the gun. The points look good, they're set right. There's probably absolutely nothing wrong with that nozzle, but we're putting a new one on her. So, yeah, I don't know, you probably can't see me now. I will adjust this a little bit. I'm going to, that's a 3/4 inch on this end, but I always just use a big pair of adjustable wrench on it. And then, oop. Alright, there's the old one. Now, this one here burns 1.5 gallons per hour. I have another house that burns 2.25 gallons per hour. There we go. So these, like, to give you an example, like a household furnace where you're just heating a house, those nozzles are usually like 0.25 gallons per hour or 0.15 gallons per hour. But these things have to heat a big area. So yeah, replacing these is just as easy as screwing the new one in there. There we go. Tighten it with that 5/8 wrench. You want to make it tight, but you don't want to make it so tight that you can't get it off when you go to replace it. Because then you're wrenching on it and it flies out of your hand and this thing gets busted, and then you're in trouble. Alright, so that's gonna go back in. And you just get you come back through there. Oh, yeah, you guys probably can't see it anymore. There we go. Well, no. Get this thing screwed back on there quick like. Alright, we got that put back on now for the cat eye, which is, so there's a little eyeball down here. And what that does is, if it doesn't sense a flame, it won't complete the circuit. So this thing sees the flame and it keeps the circuit open so it'll keep pumping fuel in there. But as a safety precaution, so that it doesn't pump a whole tank load of fuel in there if there wasn't any fire, this is the cat eye. Now those go bad. They don't go bad as often as I replace them, but it is not worth it to me to take a chance. So, see, I got a big pile of them here. I was just over to Bernie's and picked some up. Good grief. They're really in there. Alright. That's another thing. I like to carry a sheath knife. A fixed blade knife. So that when both of my hands are full, I got my hand on this and I'm holding it and I can't let go and I need something to cut or pry with, I don't have to stop and open up a pocket knife and then pick everything back up again. Little things like that, especially when you get to be an old fart like me, efficiency and less steps in your life is a good thing. Alright, so I already replaced the filter back there that the oil goes through. And that's one of these things. You get filter and new gasket for the bleed screw, and so that's all done. We got the new cat eye. We've got the new nozzle on there. Now the last thing that I'll do, which I'm going to do later because I got some other things I got to do right now, but since I've had the filter off and everything, there's going to be air in the line, so I will bleed it, make sure I got fuel coming, and fire it up, make sure everything's going to work. But that's how we go about servicing our fuel oil furnaces. And so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we got 5 units like this that I've got to go and do this to all of them. But this is the house we're going to open up in a couple weeks, so I got to get started on it. So this is house 10. As you can see, it warmed up today. It got almost to 20 outside, and it's 30 degrees in here. It was, when the sun was shining, it was up to 50 in here. I couldn't believe it. I should have done my furnace work then. But this is the house that furnace heats. This is the first house that we open up. It's about 100 feet long. Here is that furnace we were working on. As you can see, the heat tubes, those convection tubes run right under those outside benches. This one here goes underground and comes up right there and runs under that bench. So we've still got a little bit to do in here. You hear a fan running. This is our inflation fan. So these greenhouses have 2 layers of poly on them with air blown in there. Acts as insulation and helps keep the snow shed off of them. All these circulation fans up here, we gotta get those tested out, make sure that they're working. And I'll take you down here quick. Oh, I can hardly wait till this is 70 degrees and full of plants. And if you see these little gutters hanging on here, that is where we put vinca vine, bacopa, anything that's gonna vine and hang down and get in the way, get all tangled up. We have in our big house, house 4, we have a lot of those. This is where our well is. This is our pressure tank for the water for the greenhouses. So once we get the furnace running in here and get it heated up, then we can take this stupid thing apart and get the water hooked up. And then we'll have the fertilizer injector sitting here. That's what them barrels are for. And yeah, I'll show you that when we get it set up. But we have to start in this house because this is where the water is. And we slowly open houses going in that direction first. As we fill this one up, then we'll turn the water on down to the next one and down to the next one. But yep, this is house 10. This is where it all begins. I can hardly wait. It came on us pretty quick this year. Usually January drags on forever. Yeah, and after we start planting in house 10, then syrup season's going to be on us too. So there should be plenty of videos coming in the future between growing stuff in the greenhouses and doing maple syrup. And yeah, I'm sure we'll screw something up in the firewood thing that'll be video worthy too. Usually there's at least one catastrophe out in the woods. But yeah, well, thanks for watching, folks. And if you like this sort of thing, subscribe and let your friends know about the channel. We appreciate that.